Over the last decade, we've been told the same thing over and over again. Data is the new oil. Every click, every purchase, every customer interaction, it's all there. But here's the problem. If data is so valuable, why are so many businesses still guessing? And in this data gold mine that we are in right now, why are marketing teams drowning in data but starving for insights? So today I'm sitting down with Justin from Sycarda, a data intelligence company that has been working across APAC for the last decade to find out the exact truth, not just the theory, but what's actually happening inside companies, what insights matter, and how some teams are finally turning data into decisions. Because in 2026, having data is no longer the advantage, but understanding it is.
We're in the data world, but even before I jump into it, I want to talk a bit about data first. So at least it frames why we are here. The misconception is people need more data, I need to pull it from here, pull it from there, and have a huge set. The problem isn't how much data you have, it's how it's being used. And I guess that's where we come in. It's not about, making you more dashboards, helping you build more reports. We come in from a point where transactional level data, from the retail floor and helping you understand that. So it's not about what you are at now, data-wise. It's more like why it happened. Yeah. And that's where we sit. We are here to help you understand, consolidate, put all your data into a single place to give you a deeper understanding on what's happening and what's going on in your business and around you.
Why do you think businesses today struggle with that, actually?
What, as in making sense of the data, is it?
Yeah.
Well, like a famous leader once does it, or how they do it. I want to break it down to you in, let's say, 3 points. The first one, we've been around for about 9 years. And one thing we notice is, yes, people have data, a lot of it, but it's fragmented. So the first problem I would say would be fragmented data. They've got point of sale data, they've got loyalty data, they've got inventory data, and that's all there. But the question is it consolidated and are they making sense? Are they talking to each other properly? That's the first problem. The second one I'll say is, and I brought up earlier, dashboard addiction. Like, how when smartphones first came up, let's get app 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with all these apps. Do you really use it? It's the same with dashboards. People just want more and more dashboards. They want their staff to come in first day in the morning, log in and tell me what's going on. First and foremost, if you have that many dashboards, do you know how to differentiate it first? Which data sets are going in? Secondly is your staff even doing their work and checking the dashboards? Yeah. So the second problem would be dashboard addiction. Dashboards, as you know, will tell you what's going on. Yeah. Okay, how my sales are doing, which brand is doing better than the other, but does it tell you why? Okay. And the third one, I guess, data is not operational. What I mean by that is your team can come in. They will log into the dashboard and they say, okay, sales dropped 12%, this brand increased by 2%, and this inventory, the stocks can do better. And they report that to the managers, to the leads, to the heads. Okay, they have all that. But a lot of times, they don't tell you why. When you know the why behind the reason it happened, it's easy to address those problems and fix it. So that's where I guess turning your data to decisions, that's what's important, and that's where people are lacking. All right. I'll give you an example. Why I like to give examples, because if these huge companies can utilize it that way, I don't see why other people can't. So they've got huge presence. They've got outlets in every state, in every city. But one thing they know they've a lot of data. This is like loyalty data. They've got purchasing behaviors. But what they did is take notice of it. Specifically, they took notice of, what was it? I think it was unscented lotions. Okay. It was supplements. And the last one was cotton balls. Do you know why? If you put those, if you look at it individually, they're just random items: unscented lotion, cotton balls, and supplements. But when they put it together, they were trying to understand the behavior of a particular type of person. Ladies who were pregnant. When they studied the transactional level base behaviors of these shoppers, they could tell, or even as deep as what month of pregnancy they were in. And when they knew that those data sets and they saw the behaviors of their shoppers, they were then customizing promos, purchase upon purchase for these items for the people who were pregnant. And it was good. So they were actually utilizing data, understanding the shopper's behavior, create promotions based on that to speak to them better. And when those pregnant ladies saw what was happening, they, hey, wait a minute. They understand me. I like coming back here. I want to come back here because they are speaking to me in a way that they were addressing me. Yes.
Sure.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Hey, good. Because I'm not making this up. It's a true case study which I read about. And yeah, if more retailers do that and understand the buying patterns and the behaviors of their customers, you can address them better. You can speak to them better. And of course, do promotions that actually work.
That's true. That's true. You know, like throughout all the years of you kind of speaking to the market about helping them understand data, right? Where do you see that maturity coming from? Because I'm pretty sure that the ones that come along your way are not just the ones that already know that they need data, right? They probably start from the top funnel of like marketing, branding, and it's always the backbone of data that supplies that, like you've said, that creates the right promotions. But how have you seen that kind of evolved, and what's their mindset that make them understand like, hey, like data works?
Well, a lot of times like they come to us because they need advice. And if you call yourself a data expert, you better have stories or at least studies that show you that you are that. And a lot of times when we speak to potential retailers who understand the data better, we give them real life stories. And we justify why it works. So for example, like you say, okay, Mark, you want to do it this way. A lot of times, a lot of business owners will speak to their staff who are on ground. Because they are there, they're in the middle of everything that's happening. How's the sales today? What should I do? Or what do you feel? And I would say there's a lot of the managers on ground. Yes, they've been in the business long enough. Take F&B, for example. They are there, the customers know them. And yes, they are seeing what's going on, what they're buying, what they're pairing. And they relate it back to the marketers, their owners, the operation people. Then they'll come up, okay, so-and-so said this. They're on ground, they're in the thick of things. They know how things are happening. But nothing beats taking transactional level data. Why? Because when you say transaction level data, that's receipts. That is a story. Usually, I like what we say. When you take one, unless I'm claiming it back from my boss, I throw it away. But imagine collecting thousands of this, not unique ones yet. When I say unique, that's where you come in, I guess, loyalty. But if I take 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 receipts of a particular store, that tells you all the behaviors of the person, the time they're shopping, what they're buying, lunch, dinner, how they're pairing, who is serving them, how efficient they are. That is truth. So if you take that and understand, like I say, eating behaviors, buying patterns, that is easier to relate back to the bosses, to the owners, truth. And truth is that data. And from there, then they can come up with, I guess, formidable plans on what to do next, or what time to open, what time to close, how many people to staff, because that is truth.
Like, what are other signals that, businesses are supposed to pay attention to?
All right. Like what I said earlier, we'll break it down to 3 points again. And this, I think everyone talks about it. Basket behavior. Here's where you understand their average spend, what they're putting inside their basket, how they're pairing their products. Because if you know that, let's say pairing of products, a lot of, I guess, supermarkets do that. Pharmacies, buy a Panadol, get your water half price off. Buy wet wipes and maybe get a sanitizer spray, buy one free one. When they understand how the shoppers are shopping, they can address that better. Spending powers, in different areas, the power. I mean, if you look carefully, sometimes pharmacies especially, they will price items differently based on based on the affordability of the people that go there. That's where your basket behavior comes in. They can see what is the affordability of the area and, of course, cost accordingly. So that's what I mean by basket behavior. The second one, other things to look for is the frequency of the visits. What I mean by that is, do they come more often? Are they spending more per visit? Different stores will have different stories. Like I say, if you use an F&B again, one that's placed near a school, one that's placed in a housing area, we understand how they behave. Once again, you can address how to staff accordingly, how to do your inventory properly so there's no wastage. And the last one, the conversion efficiency. This one is when I talk about traffic versus transactions, promotions versus real demand. The two stores can generate the same revenue, but one might be far healthier because the customers, like I said, the customers, which could be the school kids in a certain area, come more frequent and spend across certain categories, snacking versus dinner versus lunch. That kind of examples.
And it's so, because it's such an amazing insights that businesses can actually think about, right?
Okay.
What are some of like the signals that you see businesses usually focus on, but there's so much more.
I like this. Well, I like this because I can give you another story. And this one is, okay, so the first one I took with the pregnancy, that was a Target. In this one, they have presence globally, okay? And they looked at touch points because if you look at revenue alone, okay, oh yes, we increased by 20%, yay! But we don't know why. You cannot copy that and do it again because it goes to other stores. What IKEA did was awesome. And if you understand the story, you know why they set up the stores a certain way. They focused on not just revenue, but they focused on when the people come in, how long they stayed in that area, what they touched. That's why lie down on the bed, sit on the chairs. They put a TV within distance. You sit there because when you experience that, they also did the journey. And if you notice, even the one in Mujira how they craft out the journey of the store from bedroom to kitchen to study, it's all within reason. There's a purpose behind it because they notice the longer you are in there, the more likely you are to buy. The longer or the more you experience from touch to feel to even smells, that will change your buying behavior. And of course, with the insights, they change their store flow, they change where the product placements were, and the most important one, the experience zones. That's why when you are buying for your kid, when the kid is there, they really make it a way where you're not just shopping in a catalog or you are looking at the shelf. They set it up so the kid can experience their own bedroom there. Say, Mommy, Daddy, I want that, I like this, I need this. Usually the buying behaviors are, because of what they do there, you're more inclined to purchase because you experienced it, the kids experienced it. And that's what IKEA did well. So they didn't just look at revenue. They looked at all these different touch points to persuade them, to encourage them to buy faster.
Right. So how would you kind of think about if you were in IKEA, but you want to replicate something like IKEA, which clearly they understand their business models, their consumer behavior, and they also understand at which touch point they want to measure, right? How would you kind of think about that as a business?
Okay, you said how IKEA understands. What do they understand?
The kind of touches.
How did they understand that? What made them realize that? The data, right? And it all goes down to that. And I guess how can companies do that? Another true story, this is one of our clients who was a convenience store. He realized the route that he was on, where he was placed, was a very popular route for marathons. And he never really took that into play. But whenever there was a marathon, certain sales of products would go up because last minute when we dug deeper with him, because yes, the data, wow, you increased this over the weekend, cool, but why? There's always a why behind the why it happened. The reason behind why it happened. And a lot of people, they seem to neglect that. What he realized was during these weekends, there was either a fun run, a walk, but he was on that route. And there was a sudden surge of, it was either painkillers, it was muscle relaxant, water a lot. And sometimes as he dug deeper, and that's where loyalty came in. And when he spoke to the customers, a lot of times, I think the organizers ran out of water, and a lot of times they'll buy last minute ones, or family members of the one guys who were running would buy for them, just in case. But the big thing was he utilized data. He saw the increase in sales. He used that to his advantage, and he ran promos, deals, purchase upon purchase for these times where it happened. So yes, you don't have to be in IKEA with a huge data science team to help you plan all this. You are generating enough information already, transactional level. If it goes in a dashboard, okay. But if you don't break it down with the why, then you're wasting it. Understand your data.
Yeah, definitely, actually, because it makes so much sense to be able to think about your business not just within the four walls of your brick and mortar store, right? But it is also how can you interact with the village around you? How can you interact with the community and like what's happening around you, right?
Yep.
It's crazy. That's amazing. And you mentioned about loyalty.
Yep.
How does that kind of play into this entire picture?
I see where we're going with this. So one thing, and we don't do all. When I say we don't do all, I'm not smart. I am not really good in loyalty data. Where we excel in is transactional level data. Everything is churned by the minute, how many hundreds you generate in an hour. We take all that. Loyalty, for lack of a better word, or to keep it simple, you put a name to those receipts. So everything I just said in the past, 10, 15, 20 minutes, it's the behavior of the people that come to your store. When I spoke about that mini market and the example, the only reason why he could dig deep was because he had a loyalty platform. Whether it was yours, I'm not sure. I know you guys are good. The data is even more powerful when you put a name to it. Not just a name. an age group, gender, an area where they live. Because when you can put spending power to that, when you can put a name to that, you can address them personally. And once again, I like to give examples. I'm an old Chinese man. I might look young, but I'm an old Chinese man. And I will only frequent a place if I'm not being rewarded. If you look at my phone, I've got 30, 40 loyalty cards. And if you think about it, loyalty is just a barcode. But that barcode tells that person who I am. And if I keep coming back and get rewarded, why not? So when it comes to loyalty, I like what Starbucks does. Yes, they're a global company. Yes, they're going through some ups and downs right now, but they still haven't forgotten the customer. And I'm a creature of habit. I go to Starbucks only on a particular day because my daughter has piano classes there. So much so, yes, the staff recognize me. They know me, but they don't have control of how I am rewarded. The platform is a loyalty platform. And that's why I like it, because in real time, Starbucks knows my behaviors, and on the spot, I've experienced in the app, I get pushed certain rewards even before I get there. Because they know I'm there every day. No, not every day lah. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. there. If you look at my loyalty card, it's true, I'm there. I've got my Starbucks bottle. I am not bigging up Starbucks right now, but they know how to reward me to the point that I was speaking about them.
Wow.
You know this, you're in loyalty. Because even if it's just one single person like this, it does so much that I'm speaking about them now. So much that, hey, if I'm suddenly going out with a group of friends, dude, let's go here. Why? Because I know I'll be rewarded. And I'll bring all my friends. Why? Because when you reward me, I reward you back by coming more. I'm not in the loyalty scene, but as a customer, if you don't have loyalty, it's pointless. Because I can, from my side now, I can tell you about your transactions. I can tell you about how people are shopping. I can tell you what works, how people are pairing items, which promotions work better. But if you don't put a name to that person, if you don't put an identity or even with a cluster, of the people there, at the end it's wasted, because you want repeat customers. You want them to come back. You want them to preach about you, of how well you're rewarding them, because then in word of mouth, you will build more customer base. I don't know. Am I speaking about loyalty well?
Perfect.
Because that's not my world. But as a consumer, I like, if you have a good platform, I like to come back. And as Sycarda, if I pair your transactional data with data that is identifiable, it's even more powerful for the retailer, for the business owner.
Wow. That's beautiful. And have you ever seen businesses using data that powered by Sycarda, for example, right? And they experience new segments of products that they've never thought of before understanding all the data that they've had?
This is relevant, but they have tried, because when you are capturing transactional data in real time, you can see the effectiveness of what you do in real time as well. You don't have to wait for your marketing team to come up with the reports. Maybe 2-3 days later after it's done. Another true story. They tried to introduce I think it was a durian flavored coffee. One of our clients with see, the cameraman is like, this one person might do this, but maybe your marketing team will say, hey, no, but then on the ground there, I think people might like that. Let's try. And as they did that in real time, the owners actually asked the people on ground, how's it going? They could log in and see what was working. Yes, the durian coffee was working very well, but they were pairing it with pineapple pizza. What? Maybe that kind of combination worked. Really? Did it? What the data saying so? No, I don't know the exact thing they paired it with, but if you could have access to real-time data on the ground, instead of waiting for your business to close up and then you get all the data, okay, let's crack it down now and find out. Now, on the spot, they could see that, wait a minute, because we capture data as it happens in real time. And on the dashboard, we could tell you why it was happening. Not, okay, your promotion brought up sales by 20%, yay! But no, if you break it down, durian flavored coffee actually brought it up because they were pairing it with this main course. And yes, they were introducing new products on the fly because they could track it in real time. And if it really wasn't working in outlet A, but outlet B was, everyone moved the stock over there, because maybe in outlet B, and because of loyalty, it was more of a different set of people who were of a certain age, and they like the kind of thing because maybe it was situated on a campus of uni students. You see how many different touch points it comes in.
Correct.
And when you can see all of that on a single place, there you go. You can track in real time. You can make on-the-spot decisions on whether you should do it more or cut it back less.
I love that.
Based on that, yes.
I love that. It's either you're the one who discovers the trend first, or you see other people doing it and they get the first-hand data and you jump on that trend.
Yep.
I think it's so amazing how data can actually empower businesses to be trendsetters of whatever market and industries that they're in.
You talk a lot about, she knows about trends and all. I mean, is that what you currently do as well? I mean, you have a lot of data as well, right?
Yeah.
Do you do that? I mean, like what I just said?
I try to help marketers also understand what it means to understand the kind of touch points that you have. Because a lot of times marketers are still within the viewpoints of, if I send this or if I do this campaign, they probably like it because it's a spin the wheel. They probably like it because it's engaging, but what's deeper within that? And I think that's where you guys come in, right?
More touch points, like you say?
Correct. More touch points and the why behind it. We talk about not just the campaigns, we talk about not just the product in itself, but how can a business even interact with the community around them? Experience. You go there, like you've shared, for example, you go to Starbucks because number one, you get rewarded. Number two, the barista remembers you.
Yes.
And you go there because you have that lifestyle going on, right?
She calls it lifestyle. Could be a cheap uncle.
A cheap uncle.
Yeah. Hey, if I'm getting rewarded and I enjoy that, I will keep coming back. But that's just me as a 46-year-old saying that I know this. The younger generation is that lifestyle, is that whole repetitive thing, but yet it's nice. Yeah, you see, because they know you by name, you feel at home there, you feel welcome, and you're getting rewarded.
Yeah, it is true. And businesses are hopping on that. I mean, if you look at restaurants now, they don't just do standalone restaurants. Even on online platforms, you're on Grab, right? Foodpanda, for example, that is a community. And even in the brick and mortar store, you're seeing so many hubs popping up. I mean, within Malaysia in itself, campus, the one nearby in Bangsar is APW.
Yes.
Right? So like a lot of all these hubs, and even within Singapore, New Baru is one of the latest hubs, right? And it really just shows us how businesses are supposed to interact with the community.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that, you gotta know your touch points, right?
True. Okay, so it's funny you say APW because we service them, but for them, because they're like a mini mall, they want to understand, of course, the revenue that all their tenants are generating. But they want to go deeper. But you're right. If I knew how they were shopping, I can know who else to bring in so they don't compete against each other because I am tending to the customers. But these days, even the tenants are very private about the data. I mean, if I was APW, and you open a coffee shop there and I ask you, can I see your transactional data? You say, why? Because I want to understand how your shops are shopping. And if I know that they like to pay ice cream after that, I want to make sure that I have the right mix of that in my store. And this is where more loyalty comes in as well. But it's very hard to grab all those different touch points to get your permission to see your transactional data. And from there, fuse a great, more wide loyalty program. So the winner is not me trying to make more money off you guys, but the customers that come in and the experience. But even today, it's still very sensitive when it comes to data sharing. Will it be abused? Will you sell my data to my competitor? I mean, if everyone is transparent about why they want to use it, and the big winner is of course the customers you serve. Because when they win, you win already because they're coming in more. Let's see if we can do that better.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can work hand in hand and really show the world that when you are open with your data, when you trust the people who are handling your data, everyone wins.
Yeah. And also actually I want to touch on the fact, like data actually helps businesses, right? Whether big and small, but mobilizing the people to understand the importance of data and also understanding what data they should look at is always a challenge. For businesses. And I think especially within the APAC region just yet, right? Where maybe not China, but within the Southeast Asia region, we're still understanding the importance of data. How are businesses that you're working with mobilizing their entire team to kind of do that?
Wow. So everyone is different because for us, it always starts with what is the need? And when we started this conversation, we said the problem isn't the amount of data. The problem isn't the data, because everyone has so much data these days. We're always collecting, we're always just storing for when the need arises. And they just keep accumulating data. The question now is, okay, with those data sets, how can I place it properly? How can I connect them properly to give you a holistic story on what you want? Like you said, it could be marketing. I want to run my promotions better. It could be what I said earlier. I want to staff better. I don't want to waste money on HR because I'm putting 6 people there to look after the store when only 2 or 3 people come in for lunch. But if I don't dig deeper, I know more come in for dinner. I want to staff better. So it all starts with why or what do I want? Is it just raise revenue? Everyone wants that, bring up revenue. But from what point? Do you want it to have more effective promotions? Do you want to prevent more wastage? Do you want to staff better? Do you want to utilize space more? Like, one of our Chinese restaurants, so smart. And because of what they said, we could even do better analytics for them. They wanted, because we could tell them the time it got busy. Well, it was lunch hour, tea time and all. But then they wanted to drill down even more to say, okay, I was busy, sure. But was it pairs or was it couples who were coming in more? Was it a group of friends who were coming in more? Was it families of 6 who were coming in more? So because of that question they had, we worked on our insights to even drill down to that level. So yeah, they wanted to utilize space more. So even before they even opened, they already set the tables for only families because they knew that this is more of a family place. True, their store manager could say, hey boss, yeah, this time always family come in one lah. But that might be for a certain period of time. But when we have your data for, let's say, months, even quarters of data, we could really see the trend of when people come in as a family, when people come in as a couple, when people come in as just a bunch of friends. So yeah, it all starts with how you want to revenue, how you want to see your data. That's where we come in because everyone has a different way on how they want to utilize the data. Whether it's just to ensure that you have the right access to it, the right connections to it, and it is shown to you in an easy to understand way. Because like I said, you will also have teams where their bosses, hey, you come in, beginning of the day, log in here and tell me what's going on. They don't know. We have to guide them as well. Train them on what touch points to look out for and what to understand and what to catch before it's too late.
Let's talk about AI.
Okay.
Right. So in terms of training the staffs and training departments to kind of adapt data understanding, how do you see AI driving that growth in terms of like training or...
Okay. So I wrote some stuff down for AI because we're so used to the tools you have these days. You just ask a question, you type it in, it'll tell you, oh, can you do that with my data? We could. But right now, if we use what's out there, your data, your sensitive data will go out into the other people's servers. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to your data there. They come back in. So I like that retailers these days want to utilize it more. But I have to say it, AI, right, does not replace strategy on what you should do. It amplifies your decision-making speed. And how I say that, it's, businesses, they have reactive to predictive to prescriptive when it comes to forecasting and all. So your reactive could be what happened, predictive, what is likely to happen, and what's most important, the prescriptive, what should we do next? How AI is being used, and I think another story is Sephora. Okay, see, I thought like I know Sephora. When you're married to someone who enjoys Sephora and you have a teenage daughter who's getting into it, what they're doing is pretty good because this is more like offline and online now. Online, and because Sephora's such a big brand already and their loyalty is pretty good, you will give them a lot of information. You sign up to their app. You will put in your details, your age. You even put in your skin tone and all that.
They have my skin type. They know what
but it makes the customer journey much better. And it makes even buying easier for you and for them. Because they know you so well. When you log into the app, they're already recommending so many things for you based on your behaviors. And Sephora's good at that. They have personalized recommendations. So you bought this foundation before and you bought this after. We recommend this for you next because this is good for you based on the season and the sun now. And then you're in Malaysia, so you know what kind of weather it's like. This is good for you. In-store, when you go in, they will usually ask, I think they will ask you your name because they have all that in their own iPads already. Correct. Then they will know your profile, your past purchases and your preferences. It makes it easy to guide you on what you want. And the AI does that for them. If you can't make it in store, and I think I haven't tried this, but you could see what your face is like with a certain shade that you're not used to already.
Oh, I've tried that.
Have I tried it? No. But men could try it if you really wanted to. And they will do it based on your skin tone and who you are.
I have like foundation for men right now.
Who know that? And yeah, so AI works best. It does work best when it's embedded into the customer journey. For us, when it comes to data, yes, we want to help you avoid the whole click here, click there, click there. So we are understanding how best to utilize AI to make it easy for you to understand what is going on in your business, what you should do next. Because we can already tell you that with the system we provide. But now, because of what you are used to, and you want to just type it in, hey bro, tell me what happened here. We are working towards that because we want to make sure that your data is also protected that it stays in your own environment and your own service. So we are working on that to make it accessible and affordable.
I definitely agree with the entire. I love when you talked about, not just the offline behavior, but online retention is such an important thing right now, especially as like businesses are moving from brick and mortar to an omni-channel environment, right?
Yep.
And so, yeah, definitely that matters so much where you click. And I think, even before AI, heat maps were already a thing, right? Website traffic and everything. So how can a business further dive into that? Because I really think that that's a place where businesses should invest in the near future if you're not get on it, right?
You said heat maps, yes, they probably have analytics or CCTV seeing where people are walking in and dwelling and waiting there. But if you don't connect that to the transactional data, are they just dwelling there because they're waiting for their wife to finish? Is it male or female? Is it a guy just on his phone? So there's so many data touch points now. The question is it connected well? And then I guess that's where Sycarda comes in, because I am not analytics for CCTV. I am not loyalty. But I am that platform that can take all the data points and help you combine it all, connect it all for you to help make sense. And yeah, so everyone has data. Everyone has all these touch points. Question is, are you utilizing it well? Or are you just another dashboard person telling me, okay, this happened without the why? I'll give you a great example. Sephora, yes, wow, they're really spending a lot of time in the male section. But is it actually a male there, or is it actually a lady there waiting for their girlfriend to finish shopping? If you can name that person, and if you can see whether that waiting over there actually translates to a purchase, that's where your whole 360 is done.
Wow.
Yeah, different touch points, connecting it together.
All right. Well, I want to wrap it up because episode 2 is...
If you want more, do write in the comments. Do speak to Ellie. Hey, if you want more of this, is there any more? If you want a one-on-one, hey, come to the office and we'll chat with you and give you a personal consultation.
That's so true, actually. Yeah, for sure, for sure. But just a closing reflection, right? I want to ask you the handlebar, and I love asking all our guests handlebars. So yours would be, finish the sentence. The companies that will truly win data in the next 5 years will be the ones who?
First, I'll say the ones that will truly win with data are not the ones who has the most data. We spoke about that. I got so much data, but it's the ones who have the discipline to translate that data into actionable insights. It's something simple. Everyone's got data now. I mean, it came out in, was it Forbes a few years ago? Data is the new oil. Once people saw that, they collect. So the ones who wins are not the ones with the most, but the ones who actually use the data, make actual insights into everyday decisions. The ones that succeed are those who don't live in reports, but they live in how teams operate and use data. And lastly, because in the end, data doesn't create value. Data doesn't, you have a lot of it, but the decisions you make from that data do. Or got the most, look, you make so much data. If you don't use it, if you don't work with it, if you don't decide what to do with it, then you're not a loser, but you will not win.
Right.
Like those who do utilize it. There you go.
Thank you for your time, Justin.
Hey, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. And that is true. If you want more, contact her personally. And we'll have a one-on-one or something. We'll see.